What's up, guys? Welcome to another video. I am the Poetic Killer, and in today's video, we're going to be reading the poem Swimming in the Sun and Esoteric Surfer. So, we're going to start off with Swimming in the Sun. You know the drill. We analyze, break down the deeper meaning, and get the greater picture of each poem. So, let's get to it. As I bathe in the sun, observing the transition to dawn, each day arrives gradually. Everyone possesses a unique faculty. Master the art of being isolated. Constantly trying to fit in is overrated. Allow the flow of the world within. A new chapter is when the happiness begins. Quality over quantity is a vital principle. The energy given to an opposer should be minimal, and that is swimming in the sun. And now it says, as I bathe in the sun, observing the transition to dawn. So that's just talking about the transition of the sun. You know, we all know that the sun rises in the east and sets in the west. So if that is a well-known knowledge, then that's the same energy you need to tap into. You need to learn how to tap into your left hemisphere of your brain and also your right hemisphere of your brain. And you're going through that cycle. You know what I mean? You're creating something out of nothing. And that's what it's important. So that's how you create a true arch, just like in the rainbow. You know, you're rising from the east, you're having a new mentality, a different angle of perspective that is higher in density, that is something that is not 3D. It's not something that's created. It comes from the heavens. You know what I'm saying? It comes from the internal. It comes from the non-existence. And you're bringing it into existence. You're bringing it into reality. So it's the same way you want to bring out new ideas, new information, new visions, new ways of attacking a situation and being able to set it and make it physical and tangible for people to be able to perceive and bear witness to. So it's like creating that arch. And that's how you become a true archangel. You're rising from the east and you're setting in the west. And you're creating that arch. And you can be able to arch over your creation and now be able to observe what you're creating and be able to protect it. You know what I'm saying? It's like when you have a bridge and you can be under the bridge. Let's say if it's raining or it's a thunderstorm, you can be under the bridge to protect yourself. Or like having a roof. It's the same thing. You're creating that arch within yourself. And that's how you become a true archangel. You know what I'm saying? And then it says, each day arrives gradually. Everyone possesses a unique faculty. So each day arrives gradually. It's a gradual thing. It's just like you're graduating through life. That's why the word gradually is there. You're graduating through life. You're graduating through experience. You're graduating through existence. And if you pass the test, aka you have enough wisdom and knowledge to be able to solve a situation that used to be a blockage in your life, that's you being able to graduate that gradual existence. And then it says everyone possesses a unique faculty. So, like I've said, we're all a piece of the puzzle to a greater vision, to a grander vision. And you have to just tap in within yourself and know your capabilities and your abilities and know what you have to bring into society to help the people and help everyone else because it's all about the collective. You know what I'm saying? We see there are multiple species and multiple existence within the world. So it obviously shows that this world is based on the collective, first and foremost. And once you realize that, that's when you can be able to realize, okay, this is what I'm giving to society, just like everyone else is here to be a giver to society. You know what I mean? You don't want to uphold and hold things in because if you hold your abilities in, that's when you're wasting your energy. You know, that's why they say, you know, if you have abilities, you better use it or lose it. So it's the same thing. You have to tap into that unique faculty within yourself. And the faculty is like a system, it's an institution. Just like you have your vessel, which is an institution and a system too. The brain is connected to multiple parts of your body, just like your leg is connected to multiple parts of your body. So this is a system that's working, and the blood flow is always going in a cycle. So it's always going to certain areas that is needed, and it's always working. Just like you see a bee goes to this plant to pollinate, goes to that plant to pollinate. It's the same thing. Your energy is always traveling within your vessel. And then it says, master the art of being isolated. Constantly trying to fit in is overrated. So once you know how to be isolated, that doesn't mean isolate yourself forever because too much of anything is bad for you. So you have to do things in moderation. But the more you can master being isolated, aka being alone and being an individual, that is a very good thing, because then you won't have to rely on things outside of you to keep you content, to keep you satisfied, to keep you having the energy of solitude. You already have that within yourself and you can rely on yourself. So if you're by yourself, that actually gives you more power to be able to think for yourself. If you're always with people all the time, then it's hard for you to think for yourself. You're always going to base your judgment based on what other people are thinking and doing. But the more you can balance both aspects, learning how to be yourself and master yourself, master your thinking, self evaluation, that's when you can be able to utilize that power to be amongst the right group of people that you can actually share your energy and ideas with. And then it says constantly trying to fit in is overrated. So yeah, it's very overrated, because the more you're always trying to fit in, the more you're losing who you are as a person. A lot of people every day lose who they are as a person because they are so determined to fit in to a crowd and people please other people. But the more you learn that that's not who you are and you're here to be yourself, and the people that like it will be around you, and the people that don't will eventually have to leave, then eventually you'll realize the beautiful thing about loving and mastering yourself, because other people see that light, or not really that light, but just that power and aura within you. Because aura is unseen, actually. It's not even a light, it's really unseen. It's unexplainable, but at the same time, it's something that you can be able to interpret. So it's still something that it can be what's it called? Like can be conversated to other people. But at the same time, it only takes someone that is very in tune with their energy to be able to understand other people's aura. And then it says, allow the flow of the world within. A new chapter is when the happiness begins. So when you allow the flow of the world within, that's you allowing the flow of your energy within you to flow to where it needs to be. Just like you're dancing, dancing is not a rational thing. Dancing is an irrational thing, but it's still a form of language. Dancing is a form of language. It's a form of communication if you're really tapped into the right brain energy and tapped into the feminine energy that is within. You know what I'm saying? Because if you are all logical all the time, then you will never have time to tap into that feminine energy, which is actually really closer to God, or you want to call it the universe. So, like I've broken down in my numerology, you got 147, which is masculine, 258, which is feminine, but then you got 0, 6, and 9, which is androgynous. 0 representing the cosmic womb, which is this universe. And then you got what is after 0, 6, which is the feminine energy, aka Mother Mary, the womb, giving birth, the feminine energy. And then you got the masculine energy, which is number 9, the mental womb, which is the last part of existence. And then it says, um, yeah, allow the flow of the word within. A new chapter is when the happiness begins. So when one door closes, another door opens. So never be afraid to try new things, afraid to let go of the past, afraid to let go of things that no longer serve you. Because the more you fight to keep those things, the more you're just delaying an evolved state of yourself, an evolved experience of yourself, which can actually be a better experience for you and for the people around you. But the more you try to uphold something that you know is dying, which is like a dying world, or aka dying mentality, a dying system that is within you, that is when you're actually destroying yourself. Now, for an example, when I say dying system, let's say your body, let's say you're eating things that you know is really bad for yourself, like processed food and things like that. Eventually, if you keep upholding processed things and artificial things that is not genuine and is not actually authentic, like fruits, vegetables, meat, fish, and things like that, which is actually authentic to this world or authentic to this earth, just like your body is authentic to this world and authentic to this earth. Eventually, your body's going to start to break down. It's the same thing. If you're living a life that is not really truly yours, that is not truly authentic to yourself, then the things around you and within you is going to start to break down. You know what I'm saying? Because you're not upholding an authentic lifestyle. You're not upholding things that are actually conducive to your vessel, aka your mind and your physical body. You're putting in things that are processed, which is man made, which is artificial. So eventually, something that is organic will have no choice but to break down, because it cannot uphold something that is artificial. So it's very important that you're always tapping into the energy of being authentic. And then it says, quality over quantity is a vital principle. The energy given to an opposer should be minimal. Quality over quantity is saying that, like I said, it's better to be alone or be amongst two good, genuine people than being amongst a lot of people who are artificial or have a facade. You know what I mean? Because then when you're your true self, that's when you're truly happy and your soul can be at its best state and be at its best capability. But if you're in an environment that actually forces you to be something that you're not truly not, or a facade, then that's you really putting your soul in the back burner, and you're putting something outside of you that into within your vessel. Eventually, you're gonna feel that this is not right. You're gonna feel out of place. You're gonna feel like you're not being your true self. That's why I say quality over quantity, because quality is authentic, it's authenticity, and that is the most important thing. Just like a diamond, you're gonna rather have a real diamond that costs a lot of money than to have an artificial diamond which is fake, that if you were to try to sell it, you won't get any money in return. So it's the same thing. You got to take this type of principle into your existence. And then it says the energy given to an opposer should be minimal. So it's very important that you don't give too much energy to people who are opposing you, because that is how you're creating that positive and negative energy charge, where the negative is absorbing all your positive energy, aka it's absorbing all your essence. You know what I'm saying? So it's very important that it's very minimal and you're very wise and you're knowing when to give things and when not to. You know what I'm saying? And the more you can do that, the more you're in master and control of your energy, and you're really controlling that battery pack, and you're really, you know, ahead of where you need to be. So yeah, guys, that is swimming in the sun, aka swimming in your consciousness, swimming in your logic. And the best way to do that is by tapping within yourself. And now let's get to the next poem. The next poem is called Esoteric Surfer. In existence, is existence a random, sorry, let me read that again. Is existence a random sequence of events or perfectly calculated? Once the lessons and knowledge has been gained in life is when you have graduated. All one can do is act and think in their best of judgment. Universal law proves that the only way to achieve is to be constant. There will be times when you must climb up that treacherous mountain. One will never thirst for knowledge once you drink off that internal fountain. Things work best when you do it accordingly to your own discernment. To be one with the wave is not to stress on what could be, but to stay in the current. And that is Esoteric Surfer. Now it says, is existence a random sequence of events or perfectly calculated? Once the lessons and knowledge have been gained in life is when you have graduated. So is existence a random sequence of events or perfectly calculated? That is just showing the dualistic parts of existence. Some things always starts off actually from a random sequence of event, right? But at the same time, it's calculated because this is something that you took actions on. You took the energy to mentally initiate. So yes, it might seem like it's something random, but at the same time, it's still something you made a decision on. For example, let's say I'm going to the shops and I'm in a rush to get to somewhere, and someone else is in a rush to get to somewhere too that is close to the shops, let's say the petrol station. And if we're both driving at the same speed, obviously it's going to be something that might seem like, oh, this is just a random sequence of events that we're both speeding to get to where we need to be. But at the same time, we both took that action. You know what I'm saying? We both took that knowledge and initiation to do what we had to do to get in the car and drive to our destination. So at the same time, it's calculated. But at the same time, it's also a random sequence of events. You know what I'm saying? So it's both aspects. By the end of the day, we're still taking actions and initiation in what we're doing. It's just the illusion, well, the experience might play out in a way where it might seem like, oh, was an event, this was an accident, or this was just a coincidence. But at the end of the day, you took the action and the knowledge to be where you're at. So that's how things work. It's like a double entendre. And then it says, once the lesson and knowledge have been gained in life is when you have graduated. So once the lessons and knowledge have been gained, that's when you know when to move on to the next plateau. That's when you know what to do in terms of where you need to achieve, what you need to achieve, and what you need to keep working on. You know what I'm saying? So it's very important that you're gaining the knowledge and wisdom from your experiences, because that's where the lesson is at. It's based on your experiences. And the more you gain the wisdom and knowledge from your experiences, the more you can actually graduate onto the next scenario. And then it says, all one can do is act and think in their best of judgment. Universal law proves that the only way to achieve is to be constant. So the best thing you can do is act and think in your best of your judgment. So based on your intuition. That's why I say it's very important to listen to your intuition. Listen to the inner voice within you. And the more you actually meditate, you're going within yourself. You're listening to yourself. You're tapping into the senses within. The more you start to make judgment and actions that actually correlate to your life, that is actually more conducive instead of being detrimental. But the more you listen to outside world and other people's perspective, not saying that it's not good to listen to other people's advice and perspective, but at the same time, you're still the judge. You still have to make that decision within your life if this is something that you want to take on, or is this something that you want to neglect and let go? So it's very important that before you make your judgment, you're making a wise decision. You're listening to your intuition. And then it says, universal law proves that the only way to achieve is to be constant. So you got to be constant in what you're doing. If you want to manifest things, you want to make things tangible and physical into your reality, you got to keep going. You got to spin that wheel. And the more you spin that wheel, eventually it's going to come into existence. So it's very important to be persistent, consistent, and always have a vision that is long term, because the more long term it is, the more tangible and more physical and more powerful it will be eventually. And then it says, there will be times when you must climb up that treacherous mountain. One will never thirst for knowledge once you drink off that internal fountain. So it's very important, you climbing up that treacherous mountain, okay, you're going within yourself, you're going into a higher plateau. And the way to go through a higher plateau is to be very hard and sturdy in the way you go. Like if you see a goat mountain, they're very sturdy and hard with their feet. That's why they don't fall off a mountain, which is like thousands of feet up high, because they're very sturdy with their feet. They're grounded in what they're doing. That's why the goat represents Saturn or Capricorn in astrology, because they're very sturdy with their feet. They're grounded. Capricorn, Saturn represents the earth energy. So for you to be where you want to be, you got to be very sturdy. You got to be strong. You got to be 10 toes down in whatever you're doing. And the more you can do that, the more you can actually reach a plateau that no one else has ever reached before. And you can be able to reach that mountain and have a better perspective, what I'm saying, of what you're doing. And you can see things from a whole greater atmosphere. And a lot of people won't be able to reach that atmosphere until they started being that energy and that technique that you've also reached too. So it's very important. That's why it's very important to learn from other people instead of just having a one sided mentality or a one sided perspective, because you can never evolve if you're only one sided. You always got to be both sided, or really a 360-degree. You cannot just see a 180, because that's how you get blinded. You hit a blind spot because you're not seeing all perspective. You know what I'm saying? So it's very important that you're seeing both sides to an experience. And then it says, one will never thirst for knowledge once you drink off that internal fountain. So that internal fountain is knowledge. It's a pool of knowledge. It's an endless sea of knowledge. You know what I'm saying? Just like how you have within yourself when you close your eyes, that's you see darkness, right? And darkness is the accumulation of all lights. So when you go within, you have all the answers within yourself. You just got to tap within yourself, because all the answers are dormant till you give it power, till you bring it out into the physical. Okay, you bring out that specific light into the physical. You know what I mean? That's why when you open your eyes, there are different light and different shades of objects. Like the chair is blue, the wall is white. But when you close your eyes, all you see is darkness, because that's all accumulation of lights put within yourself. So God and the universe is already telling you that the answer is already within yourself. You just got to tap within yourself and get that light within you. And then it says, things work best when you do it accordingly to your own discernment. To be one with the wave is not to stress on what could be, but to stay in the current. So things work best when you have your own intuition, you have your own voice, you have your own knowledge, you have your own wisdom. You're making your decision based on how you see things before you're basing your decisions and your judgment on how other people see things. Because someone might say, "Oh, I love peanut butter," but you might not like peanut butter because you might not like the taste, or you might be allergic to it. But just because someone else say they like peanut butter doesn't mean that they're right over you. you can like Nutella. You know what I'm saying? And because you like Nutella doesn't mean that they have to like Nutella too. They can like peanut butter and you can like Nutella, but at least you guys can realize that, oh, at the end of the day, we're both using our own unique spread within our own unique bread within our, like it says in the Bible, our daily bread. So it's the same thing. Just like you have your own daily bread, your own daily motivation and inspiration and routine and pattern that you put in your life to make you who you are. Other people have their own daily bread, their own daily routine, their daily inspiration and ways they do things in their life to put that spread on their bread. As long as you know that you both have spreads and you're doing your own thing and you can respect each other, then that's all that is. No, that's the most important thing because you guys can still be conducive and live a harmonious life. By the end of the day, you respect your unique perspective and your unique attributes because that's why we're here. We're all here to have our own unique attributes. We're not all here to be one, thinking, one way of thinking, one way of perspective. We're all here to have our own unique perspective, but under one banner. You know what I'm saying? And then it says, to be one with the wave is not to stress on what could be, but to stay in the current. So to be one with the wave is not to stress. You got to flow, just like you're in the sea. If you don't know how to swim, the more you fight the sea, the more you drown. But the more you let go, the more things actually start to float. You know what I'm saying? And now you're not drowning anymore. You're actually going with the wave. And the wave is actually taking you back to the shore. So it's very important that you're not fighting your experiences, aka fighting certain things that are coming into your life. It's to actually understand, why am I going through what I'm going through? What is this trying to teach me? How can I actually be more intelligent so these things don't actually happen again? And the more you're actually tapping into that energy of what is life teaching me instead of what is life happening to me, the more you can actually be able to perceive beyond the veil and actually know what is truly for you and what isn't truly for you, and the people who are truly for you and the people who aren't truly for you. But don't get lost in your experience. Actually observe your experience, sit down, go within yourself, self meditate, and then come up with a plan on something that can actually help you and actually stop that from happening again. And the more you do that, the more you're actually one with the current. You're now actually flowing with life. And this universal sea will actually help you guide yourself back to the shore and being sturdy ground again, where you can actually be able to perceive things from a clearer vision. So yeah, guys, that is esoteric surfer. So you're surfing through your esoteric realm. You're surfing through your internal subconscious world, and you're being creative, like we're all here to be, and bringing something new into this world. So yeah, guys, hope you guys enjoyed those poems and learned something new. And until next time, guys, I'll catch you soon.